Welcome back to Diary of the Cosmos. Tonight, we drift into the oldest unanswered question ever whispered beneath the stars. If the universe is so full of possibility, why does it answer us with silence? Look up on a clear night. Not quickly, not as a passing glance between thoughts. Stay with it. Let your eyes adjust until the darkness begins to reveal what it was always holding. First a few stars, then hundreds, then thousands. A pale river of light stretching across the sky, so vast that it no longer feels like an object above you, but like a place with depth, distance, history. The Milky Way does not merely shine, it remembers. Every point of light in that slow white band is a sun, many of them older than our own, many surrounded by worlds we will never see with our eyes. Worlds of stone, worlds of ice, worlds with oceans hidden beneath frozen crusts, worlds orbiting dim red stars that may burn for trillions of years. And somewhere inside that impossible abundance, the mind begins to feel a subtle discomfort, not fear. Something quieter than fear, a kind of cosmic unease. Because the longer you remain with the sky, the harder it becomes to ignore a single, deeply human thought. It should not be this silent. The universe is old beyond intuition. Our sun is only one star among hundreds of billions in this galaxy alone, and our galaxy is only one among hundreds of billions more scattered across the visible universe. Even if life is rare, even if intelligence is rarer still, the numbers remain almost offensively large. So large that silence begins to feel less like emptiness and more like a presence. A missing answer. A room that should contain voices, and yet all we hear is the soft electrical hiss of our own instruments. Radio telescopes turn their vast metal faces toward the dark. Arrays spread across deserts, dishes hidden in quiet valleys, sensitive enough to detect whispers from collapsing stars, sensitive enough to read the chemistry of distant atmospheres, sensitive enough to trace the ghostly afterglow of the early universe. And still, nothing we can confidently call a greeting. No beacon, no engineered pulse, no mathematically deliberate signal crossing the dark, only natural noise. Only pulsars ticking like cosmic clocks, quasars blazing in violent distances, hydrogen murmuring at its familiar frequency. The universe speaks constantly, but never, so far as we can tell, to us. That is where the discomfort begins, not in the darkness itself, but in the contrast between abundance and absence. Because this sky does not look empty, it looks crowded. Crowded with opportunity, crowded with time, crowded with places where chemistry could have learned to become memory, where memory could have become thought, and where thought might eventually have turned its gaze outward, just as we have. The silence is not disturbing because there is nothing. It is disturbing because there seems to be too much. Too many stars, too many planets, too much time. And still, no one has said a word. This question is often wrapped in the language of science and equations. Later, we will move there. We will talk about probabilities, civilizations, filters, and the strange mathematics of cosmic loneliness. But before any equation, there is a feeling. A night sky feeling. A primitive realization that the stars are too numerous for solitude to feel natural. Human beings have always sensed this, long before telescopes, long before radio, long before we knew the stars were suns. Ancient civilizations looked upward and filled the darkness with gods, ancestors, watchers, and celestial minds. Not because they had evidence, but because silence on that scale felt psychologically incomplete. A sky so vast seems to ask for company, even even now, with all our science, some part of that instinct remains. We no longer imagine gods moving constellations. Instead, we imagine signals, artifacts, probes, a distant civilization letting its presence leak into the dark. And yet the great sky remains strangely still. Perhaps the strangest part is that we ourselves have already begun to disturb the silence. For just over a century, Earth has been leaking into space. Radio broadcasts, radar sweeps, television carriers, military transmissions. The accidental static of a technological species learning how to turn thought into electricity. A thin shell of human noise now expands outward at the speed of light. A fragile sphere only about 100 light-years wide. In galactic terms, almost nothing. A tiny ripple in an ocean larger than imagination. And still, it is enough to make the silence feel personal. Because if we have begun to speak, then why has no one else left even the faintest comparable trace? Where are the ancient leakage shells from civilizations millions of years older? Where are the automated observatories orbiting dead stars? Where are the infrared glows of megastructures drinking starlight? Where are the silent machines crossing interstellar dark for reasons we cannot yet understand? The sky offers beauty. But beauty is not the same thing as an answer. And so the question settles in, slowly, like cold entering a room. Maybe intelligence is rare. Maybe civilizations do not last long. Maybe the universe is filled with life that never chooses the radio path we happen to take. Or maybe the silence itself is the clue, a sign not of emptiness, but of rules we have not yet understood. The darkness does not arrive all at once. It deepens. The longer we look, the more the stars stop feeling like decoration and start feeling like witnesses. Each one carries ages of possibility. Entire planetary histories may have unfolded around them. Oceans forming, continents breaking, atmospheres changing, biology climbing, adapting, failing, beginning again. On some worlds, perhaps eyes opened beneath alien skies. On some worlds, minds may have learned mathematics under suns redder than ours. On others, civilizations may have risen and disappeared before Earth had even cooled enough for the first oceans to settle. The galaxy is old enough to have hosted entire sagas before humanity's story even began. And yet tonight, from our small world turning quietly in one spiral arm of one ordinary galaxy, the heavens feel untouched. No traffic, no ruins, no signatures, no reply. Only the extraordinary calm of starlight crossing impossible distances. This is what makes the silence feel great. Not merely large, profound. The kind of silence that changes shape depending on how deeply you think about it. At first it feels peaceful, then lonely, then statistical, then almost philosophical. A silence so complete that it forces a confrontation with scale itself. Because the real mystery may not be whether others exist. The real mystery is why a universe so seemingly fertile has left us with only questions. Somewhere between those stars are answers. Not necessarily living voices, not necessarily ships. Perhaps only probabilities. Perhaps only the remnants of choices civilizations once made. Or perhaps something stranger. Perhaps the cosmos is not empty at all. Perhaps it is simply patient, waiting for the right distance, the right age, the right kind of listener. For now, all we truly possess is the asymmetry, a universe overflowing with worlds, and a sky that still feels mute. That contradiction is where the journey begins. Not with certainty, not with aliens, but with the unnerving intuition that the numbers and the silence do not seem to belong to the same universe. And once that feeling takes hold, it becomes impossible not to continue. Because if the night sky feels too full to be this quiet, then the next question is unavoidable. What do the numbers actually say? The night sky feels vast, but feeling is not yet the real problem. The real problem begins when we count. When astronomy moved beyond wonder and into measurement, the old unease of the stars became something sharper, a contradiction. Because once the galaxy was reduced, even gently, into numbers, the silence became harder to defend. Our Milky Way contains somewhere between 100 and 400 billion stars. Even the lower end of that estimate is overwhelming. 100 billion suns, 100 billion opportunities for planets, chemistry, and time. For most of human history, we did not know whether planetary systems were common or rare. That uncertainty once protected the silence. Perhaps stars simply did not make worlds very often. Perhaps our solar system was a cosmic accident. But over the last few decades, that protective ignorance has dissolved. Planet after planet has appeared in our instruments, first through tiny stellar wobbles, then through the delicate dimming of transit events. A star loses a fraction of its light, a curve dips, a world reveals itself, again and again and again. Now the picture is no longer speculative. Planets are not unusual. They are one of the default outcomes of star formation. Many stars seem to host them. Some host entire families, rocky worlds, gas giants, ocean candidates, frozen planets. Planets locked in resonant dances around dim red suns. And among them, a particularly haunting category emerges. Worlds in the so-called habitable zone. Not necessarily inhabited, not necessarily Earth-like, but placed at distances where liquid water could, under the right conditions, remain stable. This alone changes the emotional geometry of the silence. Because the sky is no longer simply full of stars, it is full of potential environments. Places where chemistry might have had time to wander into complexity. Places where complexity might have discovered replication. And where replication, given enough patience, may eventually have learned to ask the same question we are asking now. Where is everyone? The numbers do not stop at planets. Time is the deeper pressure. Our sun is about 4.5 billion years old. That already feels ancient to us. But many stars in the galaxy are far older. Some planetary systems had billions of years of head start before Earth even existed, before our oceans, before our atmosphere stabilized, before the first cell, before the first thought. That means if technological civilizations are even moderately probable, some should be staggeringly older than humanity. Not by centuries, not by millennia, by millions, perhaps even billions of years. In cosmic terms, that difference is almost unbearable. A civilization 1 million years older than ours would already feel incomprehensibly advanced. A billion-year lead would move entirely beyond intuition. Its biology may be gone. Its machines may have evolved into something more subtle than matter in familiar forms. Its presence might not even resemble what we instinctively call civilization. And yet, even allowing for all of that uncertainty, the central pressure remains. Given enough stars and enough time, the expectation of something begins to rise. Not certainty, but expectation. This is the emotional heart of the arithmetic. The numbers do not promise life. They simply make silence harder to casually accept. This is why scientists once proposed a framework that became one of the most famous thought tools in astronomy: the Drake equation. Not a machine for producing truth, not a prophecy, just a disciplined way of asking which uncertainties actually matter. How many stars form? How many have planets? How many of those worlds are potentially suitable for life? How often does life begin? How often does intelligence emerge? How long does a civilization remain detectable? Each term in the equation is really a confession of ignorance. A reminder that the silence may not be a mystery of existence, but a mystery of parameters. Some terms we now understand better than ever. Star formation rates, planet frequency, potentially habitable rocky worlds. These no longer feel like fantasy. The galaxy seems rich in raw opportunity, but the deeper terms remain almost painfully uncertain. The fraction of worlds where life starts. The fraction where evolution crosses into intelligence. The fraction where intelligence survives its own power. And perhaps the most haunting term of all, how long does a civilization remain visible? The darkness does not arrive all at once. Sometimes it hides inside a single variable. A civilization may exist for 10,000 years, or only a few centuries. Its radio-bright phase may be brief. Its loud technological adolescence might fade into quieter systems we would struggle to detect. Fiber optics instead of leakage. Directed communication instead of wasteful broadcasts. Quantum channels, neutrino systems, or methods we have not yet imagined. The more advanced a civilization becomes, the less accidental noise it may release. In that sense, technological progress itself may deepen the silence. The galaxy could contain intelligence everywhere and still appear mute to listeners using the wrong assumptions. But the arithmetic pressure still returns. Even if visible windows are short, the galaxy has had immense time to accumulate histories. Civilizations could rise, vanish, and leave traces. Artifacts orbiting ancient stars, automated observatories, energy engineering on stellar scales, interstellar probes drifting between systems long after their creators disappeared. The numbers make absence feel strange, not because life must be common, but because time should have allowed even rare events to echo. Imagine one civilization emerging every million years somewhere in the Milky Way. That sounds vanishingly rare. Yet over billions of years, it still becomes many. Enough for histories to overlap. Enough for ruins, probes, or modified stars to at least become thinkable. And still, the galaxy offers no confirmed evidence. This is where the arithmetic becomes psychological. The contradiction is no longer just between stars and silence. It is between time scale and consequence. A galaxy this old should not merely produce events. It should preserve aftermaths. Yet the aftermath remains elusive. No unambiguous Dyson structures, no clearly artificial infrared excesses, no repeatable interstellar beacons, no probes parked in stable solar niches, nothing yet that survives scientific scrutiny. The silence is no longer only poetic. It becomes statistical discomfort, a pressure generated by abundance multiplied by age. Too many places, too much time, too few answers. Still, caution matters. The numbers can mislead when they pretend certainty. The Drake framework is useful precisely because it exposes how little we know. A single rare step could collapse expectation. If abiogenesis is extraordinarily unlikely, the galaxy may indeed be nearly empty. If intelligence is an evolutionary fluke, silence becomes natural. If civilizations tend to self-limit, digitize inward, or lose detectability quickly, then the paradox softens. The arithmetic is not proof, it is tension. A reminder that our intuitions are trapped between enormous sample sizes and catastrophic unknowns. And perhaps that is why this stage of the journey feels so unsettling. The more astronomy reveals, the less the silence feels like simple emptiness. Instead, it begins to feel like a mismatch. The galaxy seems to contain the ingredients for stories. Yet no finished story has introduced itself. Somewhere in this mismatch lies the next layer. Because if the numbers increase expectation, then something in reality must be reducing visibility. Some filter, some bottleneck, some hidden rule that turns a fertile galaxy into a quiet one. Maybe the rarity is behind us. Maybe it lies ahead. Maybe intelligence is common, but endurance is not. Maybe civilizations bloom brightly and vanish before their signals travel far enough to matter. Or maybe the visible universe is full of minds that no longer leave footprints we know how to read. The stars remain countless. The planets increasingly ordinary. The timescales almost offensively generous. And still the silence persists. At this point, the question changes. No longer, why are there so many stars? Now it becomes, if the numbers are this large, what prevents the galaxy from becoming visibly alive? That is where the journey must go next. Into the hidden bottlenecks, the filters, the brief windows, the unseen civilizations that may rise and disappear like sparks in cosmic weather. By now, the silence no longer feels simple. The stars are too many, the planets too common, the time too generous. So if the galaxy still appears quiet, then perhaps the problem is not abundance. Perhaps it is passage. Not every world that can host life will. Not every living world will produce intelligence. And not every intelligence will survive long enough to matter on galactic timescales. Somewhere between chemistry and cosmos, there may be gates. Difficult steps, invisible thresholds. Moments where most stories end before they become visible. This is the landscape of filters. The idea is not that the universe is empty, only that the path from lifeless rock to detectable civilization may be far narrower than the stars initially suggest. A planet forms, it cools, oceans gather, molecules begin their quiet experiments. But even here, at the very first step, uncertainty expands. We do not yet know how often life begins. This is the first and perhaps deepest filter. On Earth, biology appeared relatively early once conditions stabilized. Some take comfort in that. Perhaps life emerges easily when chemistry is given time. But a sample size of 1 can be deceptive. Early emergence on a single planet may reveal a common process, or merely the only branch from which observers can ask the question. The silence may begin here. Perhaps the galaxy is rich in habitable worlds, but poor in actual biology. 1 million oceans, 1 billion coastlines, rain falling for eons, and still no cell ever crosses the threshold into replication. If that is true, then the stars are not silent because minds disappear. They are silent because most worlds never even begin to remember themselves. The darkness does not arrive all at once. Sometimes it waits inside the smallest chemistry. But suppose life is common. Suppose the galaxy overflows with microbial oceans, atmospheric biosignatures, and worlds quietly covered in simple ecosystems. Even then, another filter waits. Complexity. For billions of years, life on Earth remained microscopic. Single-celled persistence dominated almost the entire story. Multicellular complexity took patience beyond anything human history can emotionally grasp. Then nervous systems, then perception, then memory layered into models of the world. And only much later, symbolic intelligence, technology, astronomy, questions. This suggests another possibility. Life may be common, but intelligence may be the rare accident. Evolution does not strive toward minds. It only preserves what survives. A planet may remain lush, biologically rich, and forever silent in the technological sense. Forests without mathematics, oceans without telescopes, predators and ecosystems endlessly adapting beneath skies no one ever interprets. Such worlds would be alive, but observationally invisible. Beautiful, ancient, and mute. This is the rare Earth pressure. Not that Earth is cosmically magical, only that the sequence of stabilizing factors that allowed complex intelligence here may be unusually fragile. A long-lived star, a stable orbit, plate tectonics, a magnetic field, persistent climate cycling, a moon large enough to influence rotational stability, mass extinctions harsh enough to redirect evolution, but not erase it completely. Each factor may not be essential, but together they hint at an unsettling truth. The path to minds may require many quiet conveniences, enough of them, and silence becomes easier to understand. Yet even intelligence is not the end of the filters. Perhaps the most emotionally powerful threshold lies later. Civilizational survival. A species learns energy extraction. It builds machines. It transmits. Its world brightens with artificial nights. For a brief moment, it becomes visible. This is the phase we ourselves inhabit, and it may be one of the rarest windows in the entire cosmic chain. Because visibility is not the same thing as longevity. A civilization may destroy itself. War, ecological collapse, runaway artificial systems, uncontrolled biotechnology, energy instability, or simpler still, internal fragmentation. The inability to remain coherent long enough to project meaning across interstellar time. The great filter, in its most haunting form, may be here, not behind life. Ahead of intelligence, a stage where technological power arrives before wisdom stabilizes, where species become capable of ending their own detectability faster than they expand it. This possibility turns the silence inward. The stars stop asking about others. They begin asking about us. Are we early in the chain, or standing directly in front of the threshold that silenced everyone else? The question lingers because detectable civilizations may not need to die to disappear. They may simply become quiet. A young species leaks radio. A mature one does not. Efficiency replaces waste. Communication narrows into directed beams. Most processing moves inward. Virtualized realities, localized energy loops, optical channels, computation embedded in matter itself. To primitive listeners like us, advanced civilizations may not look louder. They may look absent. The conversation between technology and visibility may actually grow quieter over time. The more sophisticated the civilization, the less accidental evidence it leaves. This means the galaxy could contain ancient intelligences whose existence is hidden not by distance, but by elegance. No waste heat we can confidently separate. No broad spectrum leakage. No noisy expansionist empire. Only highly optimized systems folded close to local resources. A civilization present, but observationally minimal. Even interstellar expansion may not solve the silence. A species does not need faster-than-light travel to spread. Even sublight probes, self-replicating machines, or slow colonization waves could move across the galaxy in timescales far shorter than the Milky Way's age. This is what makes the absence of visible aftermath so strange. Even rare civilizations should, in principle, leave residues. Automated stations, artificial moons, energy harvesting architectures, modified planetary systems. And yet every serious search returns us to ambiguity. No confirmed probes, no undeniable megastructures, no unmistakable engineering scars on stellar populations. Only natural astrophysics, again and again surviving scrutiny. So the filter picture remains powerful because it does not require emptiness. It only requires fragility. A narrow path. A sequence where most stories end quietly. Some never begin. Some remain microbial, Some never reach minds. Some reach minds, but not machines. Some reach machines, but not maturity. Some mature into invisibility. The result, from our position inside one young and noisy civilization, is the same. A sky full of potential, a galaxy full of thresholds, and a silence produced not by one answer, but by many possible endings. This is the scientific heart of the great silence. Not mystery for its own sake, but bottlenecks, rates, durations, the difference between emergence and persistence. Still, there is one more layer, a colder one, because perhaps the silence is not merely the result of fragility or rarity. Perhaps some civilizations choose the silence. Perhaps the darkness between stars is not empty by accident, but quiet on purpose. That possibility belongs to the next stage of the journey, where science begins to blur into game theory, ethics, and cosmic fear, where the forest itself may already be listening. Until now, the darkness could still be explained by chance. Rare chemistry, fragile evolution, short-lived civilizations, invisible technological maturity. All of these preserve a kind of cosmic innocence. The universe remains quiet because the path to visibility is narrow. But there is another possibility, a colder one. What if the silence is not what remains when civilizations fail, but what civilizations deliberately create when they succeed? The idea begins not with astronomy, but with behavior. Imagine a forest at night, dense, ancient, full of unseen movement. You know other creatures are there. You hear traces, a broken branch, a distant shift in leaves, a breath you cannot place. But no one calls out. No one reveals their position. Because in a dark forest, to be heard is to become vulnerable. This is the emotional core of what has come to be known as the Karkmima dark forest hypothesis. Not established science, not evidence. A speculative game theory model, yet one powerful enough to haunt the mind once introduced. Its central logic is simple. Every civilization wants to survive. No civilization can be certain of another civilization's intentions. Resources, time, and existential risk are all finite. In such a universe, broadcasting your existence may become irrational. The safest strategy is silence, or worse, preemptive elimination of anything that becomes detectable. Here, the stars stop feeling empty and begin to feel inhabited by caution. The darkness does not arrive all at once. Sometimes it arrives as strategy. This idea is unsettling not because it is proven, but because it uses familiar logic. Human history understands fear. We understand uncertainty between distant powers. We understand how mistrust can emerge even when both sides might prefer peace. Project that logic onto interstellar distances, where communication delays span years, centuries, or millennia, and misunderstanding becomes almost structural. A message sent in curiosity may be received in paranoia. A signal intended as art may be interpreted as reconnaissance. A harmless civilization may look indistinguishable from a future threat. And so the silence deepens. Not because no one is there, but because everyone understands what noise might cost. In this frame, SETI itself acquires a strange emotional tension. Listening feels safe. Speaking feels consequential. The universe becomes a place where the wisest civilizations are the least visible. No broad beacons, no grand declarations, no celebratory broadcasts into the dark, only careful observation, stillness, concealment, a sky full of minds behaving like shadows. Yet the dark forest is only one expression of intentional silence. A gentler possibility also exists. The zoo hypothesis. Again, speculative. Again, unproven. But psychologically very different. In this vision, advanced civilizations are aware of younger worlds like ours and choose non-interference. Not out of fear, out of ethics. A cosmic version of distance and restraint. Perhaps emerging civilizations are allowed to develop naturally. Perhaps direct contact alters evolutionary, social, or philosophical trajectories too deeply. Perhaps observation without intervention is seen as a moral duty. The stars in this model are not hiding from us. They are waiting. Watching a species discover itself, allowing intelligence to mature without inherited answers. This possibility changes the emotional texture of the silence. What once felt cold begins to feel almost merciful. The absence of signals becomes less like abandonment and more like patience. Every civilization we once knew, every memory ever carried by starlight, all of it unfolding inside a protected quiet. But even this gentler idea carries tension. Because from our perspective, mercy and emptiness are observationally identical. A silent guardian and an empty sky produce the same data. Nothing. No verified signal, no direct encounter, no undeniable evidence, only interpretive space. This is what makes the great silence so psychologically rich. The same observational void can support radically different meanings. Rarity, fragility, strategic fear, ethical restraint, or simply our own inability to recognize what advanced presence looks like. There is another subtle possibility here. Civilizations may not choose silence out of fear of attack or moral caution. They may choose it because meaning changes with age. A young civilization wants to announce itself. It longs for recognition. It reaches outward. But an ancient civilization may become less interested in expansion and more interested in inward depth. Simulation worlds, engineered consciousness, slow computation, art forms unfolding across millennia, long-duration experiences embedded in matter and energy. In that state, the external galaxy may become background rather than destination. Silence would then not be a defense. It would be a byproduct of transcendence. A civilization so mature that broadcasting simply no longer matters. The stars remain bright, but the motives behind them grow increasingly opaque. This is where the emotional center of the silence shifts. The fear is no longer, they may be hostile. The deeper unease becomes, their priorities may be completely unreadable. And unreadability, at cosmic scale, feels almost identical to emptiness. The darkness between stars becomes a psychological mirror. We fill it with the kinds of civilizations our own anxieties can imagine. Hunters, guardians, observers, transcended minds. Each model says as much about us as it does about the cosmos. Still, one truth remains. All of these ideas depend on a single prior condition. There must be others. The intentional silence models only matter if the galaxy is already inhabited by minds that have chosen behavior over visibility. That makes this section less a scientific conclusion and more a philosophical pressure chamber. What kinds of ethics emerge when civilizations are separated by light years? What does trust even mean when every answer arrives centuries later? What counts as mercy in a universe where revelation itself may be destabilizing? The stars do not answer, but they sharpen the question. Perhaps silence is not the opposite of intelligence. Perhaps its scale, it is one of intelligence's final expressions. A civilization old enough may eventually learn that survival, wisdom, and invisibility converge. That not every truth must be announced. That not every sky must be disturbed. And if that is so, then the night above us is not empty. It is disciplined, measured, waiting. Yet there is one final possibility, quieter than fear and gentler than ethics. Maybe the silence has nothing to do with choice at all. Maybe it is simply a matter of timing. Maybe civilizations are not absent. Maybe the universe itself is still early in learning how to speak. That is where the final journey leads. Not into dread, but into humility. Into the possibility that the great silence is not the end of the story, only the pause before its first true sentence. After all the darker possibilities, this final one arrives almost softly. No hidden predators, no silent guardians, no vanished empires required, only time. The kind of time that makes human intuition almost useless. We live inside a universe that feels old. Billions of years certainly sound ancient. Galaxies formed long before Earth existed. Stars older than the sun have burned in the Milky Way for ages beyond our history. And yet cosmic age is not the same thing as cosmic readiness. The silence may not be telling us that minds are rare. It may be telling us that synchronized minds are rare. A galaxy can be rich in habitable worlds and still poor in overlapping technological windows. Life may emerge on many planets. Intelligence may even arise often enough. But if civilizations appear at scattered moments separated by millions of years, their periods of detectability may pass like ships crossing an ocean in different eras. One civilization transmits. Long after it fades, another learns to listen. A world becomes luminous with radio. By the time the signal reaches another rising species, that species has not yet invented electricity. The message arrives too early, or too late. The darkness does not arrive all at once. Sometimes it is simply the distance between beginnings. This is the emotional beauty of the "It's we are early" possibility. Not that we are alone, only that cosmic conversation requires timing as much as existence. The universe may be full of first attempts, scattered awakenings, isolated dawns, civilizations opening their eyes in different ages of the same galaxy, rarely aligned long enough to know one another. In that sense, silence is not absence. It is desynchronization, a problem of overlapping lifetimes across astronomical space. And perhaps our own civilization is among the earliest technological species to begin asking outward questions in this region of the galaxy. This idea no longer sounds as implausible as it once did. The early universe contained fewer heavy elements. Rocky planets required generations of stars to forge carbon, oxygen, silicon, iron, and the other building blocks needed for complex chemistry and geologically active worlds. The first stars lived fast and died violently. Only later did the cosmos become chemically rich enough to produce planets like Earth in large numbers. There may be a kind of galactic habitable epoch, a broad era when the ingredients for complex life become more statistically favorable. If that epoch is still unfolding, then the Milky Way may not yet have had enough time to accumulate many overlapping technological histories. We may not be late. We may be near the beginning of the Great Awakening. The thought is almost comforting. The stars are silent not because the story ended, but because it is still being written. And here, for the first time, the silence feels less like a warning and more like a frontier. Humanity's own signal sphere is still astonishingly small. 100 light-years of leakage. A tiny expanding shell around one yellow star in one minor spiral arm. Barely enough to graze a microscopic neighborhood of the galaxy. Most of the Milky Way has not yet had time to even know we exist. Our first radio whispers are still traveling, crossing molecular clouds, passing ancient red dwarfs, sliding past rogue planets in interstellar dark. One day, perhaps, they will wash over another world's sky. A civilization there may still be microbial, or primitive, or already gone. Or perhaps, on some distant night beneath another atmosphere, instruments may one day notice the faint mathematical irregularity of our earliest noise. A young species speaking before it fully understands what speaking means. There is something profoundly humbling in this image. The great silence may not be a solved problem because the universe itself has not yet completed enough attempts. The stars are not withholding answers. They are still generating conditions from which answers can emerge. Every stellar nursery forming now may be preparing future listeners. Every rocky world cooling in a distant system may be writing the first chapter of biology. Every ocean beneath frozen ice may be hosting chemistry only a few billion years away from memory. The galaxy may be less like a finished city and more like a landscape at dawn. Lights slowly appearing, far apart, unaware of one another, for now. This possibility also changes how we think about ourselves. We are not merely observers of the silence, we are part of the process that will eventually end it. Humanity is already contributing to the galaxy's first detectable texture. Our radar sweeps, our accidental broadcasts, our intentional messages, our probes leaving the solar system. The thin outward edge of technological existence. A first sentence spoken into a room so large that the echo may take ages to return. The darkness does not feel empty here. It feels expectant. A pause filled not with nothing, but with futures. Perhaps millions of civilizations will eventually emerge, but most of them have not yet arrived. Perhaps some are beginning now. Perhaps some will arise long after our sun is gone, beneath the patient light of red dwarfs that will outlive almost every familiar star in our sky. In such a universe, the silence becomes historical rather than existential. We are living in the early pages, not the epilogue. The first civilizations may always experience the greatest loneliness, not because the cosmos is barren, but because they awaken before the network exists, before the galaxy becomes self-aware in distributed fragments, before isolated intelligence turns into civilization at scale. This idea carries a strange hope. The silence above us may be the sound of futures still forming, of minds not yet born, of oceans still cooling, of planets still assembling the molecules that one day may look upward and feel the same unease we once felt. And if that is true, then our loneliness is temporary. Not for us personally, perhaps not even for our species, but for the galaxy itself. One day, the Milky Way may become threaded with countless windows of awareness. Signals crossing between stars, archives preserved in interstellar relays, slow cultural exchange unfolding over epochs. A galaxy no longer silent, but gently conversational, not loud, not crowded, just awake. For now, we remain in the quiet before that era. A young civilization turning beneath a sky that still feels mute. Yet the silence no longer carries only fear. It now carries possibility, because every great conversation begins this way, with one voice, then another, then a long pause, and finally, recognition. Perhaps tonight, what we call the great silence is simply that pause, the one that always comes before the universe learns how to answer itself. This has been another entry in Diary of the Cosmos. Until our next journey, remain with the stars.